This week we're talking about Kauai and the art of tripod maintenance, and you're listening to the Landscape Photography Podcast. Of the thing, it was not functioning well at all anymore. I had white corrosion in every single joint, and so yesterday I spent the better part of 3 hours taking apart every piece on my tripod and scrubbing them and cleaning them.
Go on this way. Oh, well, I had hoped that cleaning my tripod would get rid of the squeak, but it's still there a little bit. I think I need a bit more work on that. So I've come down to the beach hoping to do a bit of work, maybe take some photographs and that kind of thing, but the weather is just terrible. It's absolutely awful. It's going from bad to worse, so I don't think I'll be taking any photographs. But whilst I was walking along the beach, I was thinking about this image, and that's what I want to talk about today. So the reason I've been thinking about this image so much is because I've basically spent the last 2 days trying to print it. And when you print images, you have to create a separate copy, and then you do a soft proof, and then you apply the paper profile, and then you try and make that image look like your original edited image, and then hopefully the printer should spit it out looking exactly like your original image on the screen. It's very complicated, and I'm sure at some point I'll do a nice little printing video. But just like with printing, when you shoot an image and then bring it into the edit suite, you can have the same problem. So let me explain. When I was taking this photograph, when I was on location taking this photograph, the scene didn't necessarily look like this image here, the final image. In fact, I'll show you the RAW file. This is the RAW file, and you can see there's a huge difference. And partly that's because I overexposed the image on purpose to make sure I brought through all of the details in the shadows, but even still, with a slightly less exposed image, it still looked very flat and very washed out, and even with the polarizer there was still lots of glare and lots of blue lights, but I could still see the potential, and the composition and the subject was so good, or at least I thought it was so good, that I kept working on it. So the point I'm trying to get across here is when when you shoot images, it's not always about what you see immediately in front of you. I mean, when you shoot like an epic sunset, of course, then what you see is what you get, and generally you don't need to do much processing. But with the more intimate scenes, the more abstract, the more, dare I say it, fine art images, they require more thought, and not just about setting up your composition and your exposure and everything in camera, but you also have to think about how you want the final image to look and take that forward going into the edit suite. So I'm just going to show you very quickly how I edited it. I've got the image here. This is the raw file. So we'll do my square crop, which is how I shot the image in the first place, using the preview on the back of my camera. So yeah, it was something like this. Now the first thing I'll have done is just warm up the image because it was looking very cool. Now I did overexpose it, so I'm going to pull it back by just over half a stop, there or thereabouts, and I'm going to just lift the whites ever so slightly and really drop the blacks. Now what I'm achieving by doing this is just drawing all of the viewer's attention onto the wonderful leaves and that sweeping stem, and that's what I saw when I was photographing the image, and I knew that I would be able to pull all of this detail out in the edit suite. And that's the message, that's today's message. think more than just subject and photography. Anyway, vibrance, I think I boosted the vibrance a bit. Now you can see, even though my white balance is really warm, just here it really is, it's still incredibly cool in the shadows. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of split toning to the shadows, and all it's going to do is it's going to warm up pretty much the entire image and give it a lovely, hopefully earthy brown feel. So that's a nice colour there. I'm just holding down Alt so I can see the colour. Yeah, okay, and then I just bring that in until it looks right. This is a very quick edit here. There we go. You can see the image is looking more warm, more earthy. We've got rid of those cool blue shadows, and then if I just go into the color selection panel here, I can pick out the greens and the yellows and actually boost the saturation of these. There we go. And I can actually boost the luminance as well to make them pop even more. And then I wanted the image to be all about the stem and those leaves, so I'll just bring in a little bit of a vignette, and this is more or less how I edited it. Very quick, very simple. I then took this image into Photoshop and removed a few distractions, and the final image that you can see is this one, and I knew I was going to do this. So that's what I would say when you're out on location taking photographs. Be intentional, be thoughtful, and just think further ahead than just taking the photograph. Think about what you're going to do when you get that photograph back into the edit suite, because these raw files hold a lot of information and the potential is there. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to show you how I edited this image and hopefully get the message across. Right, I think I'm starting to waffle on now. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, until next time. Bye for now.